current U.S. administration not keen on renewable energy, removing incentives in some cases. Let's get an outlook for that sector and some stock ideas. We're joined by Maheep Mandloi, Senior Analyst in Clean Energy and Renewables at Mizuho Americas. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Is it fair to say, though, that renewables are still expanding rapidly in the United States?
Thanks for having me, first of all. And absolutely, you're right. We are entering a phase of expansion here. The administration has cut down these tax credits, which in most cases end starting 2031. But because of that, we'll see a rapid expansion ahead of that, kind of a demand pull, if you will, in utility scale, solar, and residential. And none of this has benefited from the AI race yet. So that's a long-term opportunity if that comes in. But we're definitely excited about that. We like First Solar on the solar module manufacturing side and Sunrun on the residential solar side.
Well, let's get to a couple of those stocks. Start off with First Solar. Just remind us what they do. They're a big maker of solar modules, and of course, they're not Chinese.
Yeah, exactly. They are probably the only big, large-scale solar module manufacturer globally, which is A, not Chinese, and B, not dependent on the Chinese supply chain. They have a different technology called a thin film, and everyone else uses something called a crystalline silicon technology. So that becomes pretty important. If you look at what the priorities of this administration is, it's nearshoring, moving away from the China supply chain, and flexible load. First Solar ticks through two of those boxes, and hence why it's our topic.
That's interesting. All right. Just their technology is different, and that lets them avoid dependence on China. Sunrun is a big player in domestic installations of solar, other aspects. What draws you to that stock?
Yeah, so Sunrun is a residential solar developer, financing company. They have multiple hats, but basically they are the largest solar leasing company in the US. And one interesting thing which happened under these new rules under the One Big Beautiful Bill, the incentives for solar loans or cash sales, like for customers, you and I, those end starting this year. But the incentives for solar leases are available for the next 4 years. So Sunrun, being a leader, capitalizes on it, and we think they'll have above market growth rates for the next few years in this industry.
And then finally, you have an engineering company, Mastech, and they, of course, a big player in electric infrastructure build-out.
Yeah, they are a diversified engineering procurement construction company, or EPC. They do EPC for utilities, building the transmission distribution grid. They do power generation, renewables as well. But one thing which we're more interested on them, or what we like for them, is they also do natural gas pipeline construction. With all the focus on data centers, that's something like a derivative. All the data centers would need natural gas power, or are using natural gas to power themselves. And those would require expanding the existing pipelines or adding new pipelines. And Mastech is at the forefront of that, the leader in that, and they benefit from that trend, which should transpire over the next 2 years.
Maheep, thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Maheep Mandloi, Senior Analyst in Clean Energy and Renewables at Mizuho.